Okay, real talk. I'm going to tell you about one of the most boring-looking vegetables in your grocery store, and why, if you're over 40, it might genuinely be one of the most powerful things you can add to your daily life. I'm talking about carrots. Yes, carrots. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share is actually backed by some pretty serious medical research, and by the end of this, you might be adding them to your shopping cart every single week. We're not doing another eat clean, feel great pep talk here. We're digging into what actually happens. Biologically, when you start eating carrots every single day, specifically when your body is past 40, and trust me, your body past 40 is a completely different game. Why 40 changes everything. Here's something a lot of people don't fully appreciate until they're living it. The body you have at 42 or 47 is not the same machine you had at 28. And it's not just about weight or energy levels. On a cellular level, things shift. Inflammation starts to creep up. Oxidative stress accumulates. That's basically when your cells take damage from things like pollution, stress, poor sleep, processed food. Your cardiovascular system works harder. Your eyes, your gut, your immune function, all of it starts to need a little more support than it did before. A 2021 report published in the journal Nutrients noted that chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the primary drivers of almost every age-related disease, from heart disease to cognitive decline. And here's where it gets interesting. What you eat every day is one of the most powerful levers. You have to fight that inflammation, not a supplement, not a pill, food. And carrots, in ways that might genuinely surprise you, punch very far above their weight. The beta-carotene effect. So let's talk about what makes a carrot actually special. The big one is beta-carotene. That's what gives carrots their orange color. When you eat it, your body converts it into vitamin A. Now, vitamin A is something most people associate with eye health, which we'll absolutely get to, but its role goes so much deeper than that. Your immune system, your skin cell turnover, your respiratory health. All of these depend on adequate vitamin A. And here's a number that should get your attention. According to the World Health Organization, vitamin A deficiency affects an estimated 190 million preschool-age children globally. But in adults over 40, subclinical deficiency, meaning you're low but not dramatically symptomatic, is far more common than people realize, especially in populations with diets heavy in ultra-processed foods. One medium carrot gives you roughly 200% of your recommended daily intake of vitamin A from beta-carotene. That's not a small thing. And because beta-carotene is fat-soluble, if you eat your carrots with even a small amount of healthy fat, think olive oil, avocado, hummus, your body absorbs significantly more of it. A study from Iowa State University found that participants who consumed carrots with a fat source absorbed up to 6.5 times more beta-carotene than those who ate them plain. So dip your carrots, people. That's science. What carrots do for your heart. Now let's talk about your heart, because after 40, this becomes the conversation that matters most. Cardiovascular disease is still the #1 cause of death globally. The World Health Organization estimates it accounts for roughly 17.9 million deaths per year. So anything that supports heart health deserves our attention. Carrots contain a compound called falcarinol, and they're also rich in potassium and dietary fiber, specifically soluble fiber. Soluble fiber binds to LDL cholesterol, what we call the bad cholesterol, in your digestive system and helps carry it out of your body before it gets absorbed into your bloodstream. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher consumption of dietary fiber from vegetables was associated with a significant reduction in cardiovascular disease risk. We're talking a 9 to 14% risk reduction, linked specifically to consistent vegetable fiber intake. And the potassium in carrots? 1 cup of raw carrots contains about 400 milligrams of potassium. Potassium helps regulate blood pressure by counteracting the effects of sodium. If you are someone who, like most of the global population, eats more sodium than recommended, adding potassium-rich foods every single day is one of the simplest, most evidence-backed moves you can make for your blood pressure. Hey, real quick, if you're finding this useful, go ahead and hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who might need to hear this. Okay, let's keep going, because the eye stuff coming up next is honestly really wild. Your eyes after 40. So we've all heard, carrots are good for your eyes. But I want to explain why that's actually true, because the mechanism is more impressive than the cliché suggests, and it becomes dramatically more relevant after 40. Inside your eye, there are two pigments called lutein and zeaxanthin. These act as a natural filter against high-energy blue light, the kind pouring off your phone, your laptop, your TV. As we age, the concentration of these pigments in the macula, the central part of your retina, naturally declines. This is one of the primary contributors to age-related macular degeneration, which is currently the leading cause of blindness in adults over 50 in the developed world. According to the American Academy of Ophthalmology, here's the good news. A long-term study from the Age-Related Eye Disease Study, known as the AREDS study, found that consistent intake of carotenoids like beta-carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin was associated with a 25 to 30% reduced risk of progression to advanced macular degeneration. And where do you get those carotenoids every day? Consistently, without spending a fortune on supplements? Carrots. Combined with leafy greens, but carrots make an enormous contribution, especially for beta-carotene. Gut health and inflammation. There's another angle that's become increasingly important in the science of aging your gut. The gut microbiome, the ecosystem of bacteria living in your digestive tract, has a profound influence on everything from your immune system to your mood to your metabolic health. And after 40, that ecosystem becomes less diverse and more susceptible to imbalance. Particularly if your diet lacks fiber, carrots are a solid prebiotic food. The fiber they contain feeds beneficial bacteria, like Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus species. A 2023 study published in Cell Host and Microbe reinforced what researchers have been piecing together for years, that dietary fiber is one of the most important variables in maintaining a healthy, diverse microbiome. And the anti-inflammatory compounds in carrots, specifically polyacetylenes and antioxidants, like beta-carotene itself, work alongside your gut bacteria to reduce systemic inflammation. This matters because, as we said at the start, that chronic background inflammation is at the root of so many of the conditions that develop in midlife and beyond: skin, energy, and the daily reality. And look, I know we've been going deep on the science, so let me bring it back to something you might actually notice in the mirror. Vitamin A and antioxidants from carrots actively support skin cell regeneration and protect against UV-induced damage at a cellular level. A study from the British Journal of Nutrition found that higher carotenoid intake was directly linked to a more youthful skin appearance, more even skin tone, and a natural glow that participants and objective observers rated as more attractive. There's a reason some high-end skincare brands spend billions trying to replicate what beta-carotene does naturally from the inside. And energy. This is subtle but real. Carrots have a low glycemic index, meaning they give you a slow, steady release of natural sugars rather than the spike and crash you get from processed snacks. For someone in their 40s juggling work, family, maybe a parent to care for, and a career that doesn't slow down, that steady energy throughout the day, without the crash, is genuinely noticeable over time. Here's the bottom line. You don't need a complicated protocol. You don't need an expensive supplement stack. 1 to 2 medium carrots a day, eaten with a little fat to maximize absorption, consistently, over weeks and months, creates a measurable shift in your cardiovascular risk profile, your eye health, your gut diversity, your skin, and your body's inflammatory baseline. That's not me selling you anything. That's decades of peer-reviewed research talking. After 40, your body starts asking more of you. It needs more intention in what you give it. And the beautiful thing is, carrots are cheap. They're available everywhere on this planet. They work cooked or raw, and they last in your fridge. There's almost no barrier to starting today. So that's it. One vegetable, one habit, potentially enormous returns over time. If this video made you think differently about something as simple as a carrot, then it did exactly what I hoped it would. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Hit that subscribe button right now, because every week, we break down the science behind the small changes that actually move the needle on your health. No fluff, no gimmicks, just stuff that's actually backed by evidence. I'll see you in the next one.